right, welcome back, Pokemon Go players, to another episode of the Purified Podcast. Today is August 16, 2020. I am your host, Luis Palacios, and my co-host, Chris.
It's your boy, Pokemon Trigger Please. How you guys doing?
Hey, how's it going, my good man?
Oh, always a good week. Always a good week.
It's always been a good week for everybody, but we are not alone. Chris, let's hold on over here. And everybody in the chat, of course, that's listening to us right now. We actually have our very special guest, a leader of our community, a friend and now a PvP GBL rising star, Jerseytoof. How's it going?
What's up, guys? How you guys doing? It's good to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us.
No problem. Thanks for inviting me.
Of course. We, wanted to make sure that, we actually have some content creators that are rising on GBL and, in the PvP community, since PvP is actually becoming such a green thing in here in Pokemon Go. So we're going to begin, of course, with our interview in just a moment. Tom, if you can just hang on for just a second there. Make sure that you guys, we don't always remind you guys to always check us out at the Professor Network. PokemonProfessor.com/Purified Podcast. They always go ahead and check us out. They're wonderful people that work well in the community. They're always great people to work with, and they do just podcasts just like ourselves. There are podcasts, special conditions, Pokemon Masters, everywhere else. So make sure you check us out there, and we're definitely going for more for anything. But now that all of that is out of the way, it's time to get to know Jersey here. So Jersey, if you want to, make sure go ahead and introduce yourself to our listeners. And what do you do? What is the best thing that we can know about you?
All right. Well, my name is Tom, but people like to call me Jersey. I'm originally from New Jersey, and I moved down to Florida in 2005. So, I wasn't really too much into PvP at first. I always gave the PvPers a hard time, but now, I'm a PvP addict. So I was like, what can I give back to the community? And, I've been trying to make videos for the past maybe 4 or 5 months and, not getting that many views, but just still trying to keep up the daily routine of doing videos every day, every other day, and just for the love of PvP in the community. And it's great that finally have people that come in and actually enjoying my content. And it makes me feel good that people from all over the world are getting some kind of insight from my videos, you know what I'm saying? But overall, besides the PvP aspect, I'm a cook. I used to be a professional bowler. I don't know if I haven't bowled in many years, but I used to be on the Pro Tour. And, just trying to live up the life down here in paradise.
Hey, this is what it is. Of course, the hot summer weather never really gives us a break when it comes down to it.
Humidity.
I know, right? I know.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, no, that's great. Actually, I didn't know that you did bowling. I actually had a friend, too, who would do a lot of professional bowling in the past. Right now he's retired. He doesn't care really. He just plays it for fun.
I haven't bowled many years. But
that's actually great.
I actually went to college for bowling. Ooh. That's the main reason that I actually got into college is because of my scholarships. Hey,
that's crazy.
I wish I could start back one of these days.
Hey, you never know. It's never too late. But right now we're going in of course on Pokemon Go, on the games and everything, the things that we love to do. But that's great to know. That's always good for our listeners to know that whoever is behind the screen is always also a person, so they learn do things that they need to do. So it's great that you're wanting to, of course, be part of that. So thank you very much for sharing that with us. But then let's go ahead and actually ask the next question. Chris, what do you have for us, of course?
Alright, so what made you get introduced to Pokemon? Was it through Pokemon Go?
Through the actual Pokemon itself?
Yeah, was it like your first introduction to Pokemon per se?
Well, back when I was, maybe in the early teenage years, I actually, when it first came out, I started collecting Pokemon cards, and I really was into the show. And then I just didn't really care for it for many years after that. And then, just one of these things, it was a craze. Everybody was playing Pokemon Go at first. I played it like everybody else. And, and then I even stopped after the first 2 months. And then it just took a year and just all of a sudden it got thrown in my lap again. I met somebody who had 4 phones. I was like, what are you guys doing? And just started playing, and just the rest is history,
Oh, that's really our community for sure.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
But no, it's the same thing for I think for a lot of our listeners, and actually for myself too. I play Pokemon Go since the beginning. I do know Pokemon Go from like the early ages of when Gen 1 was around and everything. I always play every single main series game since then, but never really got like it competitive or all this kind of stuff. And then Pokemon Go came out.
Exactly.
It just changed the world. It changed my entire world.
Yeah,
when Pokemon
totally.
Go came out. What team color are you?
I'm Valor. Go Valor, right, Chris? There we are.
Yeah, no, I'm out
Valor
here.
power, man.
I gotta get the Mystic representative.
Okay, that sounds kind of weird. You know what I mean?
And then, what other games have you played aside from Pokemon Go? Have you played any of the main series games too?
Well, I haven't really played like in the back when it first came out, like the Nintendo DS and all that. I played it originally, and then I got Nintendo 3DS maybe like 6 months ago, maybe a year ago, and I got into that, and I got into really shiny hunting of that at my house. But it wasn't the same because I enjoy going out in the community and actually, getting out and knowing some people more than just sitting home and hunting. Which is it's fine if you like to enjoy those things, but for me, I enjoy more of the Pokemon Go aspect, the Go aspect of the Pokemon.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of the people who talked about this is the same. I mean, yeah, you can be a shiny hunter in the main series games, but it's never really the same. Pokemon Go has really changed the way that things have actually like come around. What Pokemon is really about, shiny hunting, all over the place, raiding and everything. Really, it has revolutionized how we see Pokemon in general, and it's just gonna keep on going. That's for sure.
It's changed since the beginning, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
Pokemon Go.
It's a lot more like it used to be a community thing. Now it's a lot more community driven.
Oh, yeah.
Like you have friends in game and everything. It's
Yeah.
insane.
And I think that's the biggest aspect of the game. It's not just the Go aspect, it's the meeting the community. It's what we
for sure.
meeting everybody who also has the same niche and playing the game. Just like you get to connect to those people, and you make long-lasting friendships that way, and that's great. Because can you tell me right now, you think that any of us would have met if it wasn't for Pokemon Go?
No, not at all.
Right.
I don't think so.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, maybe cross paths there and everything like that because we live in the same area. But either way, it's something that we probably would never thought about it until we play the game itself. So
yeah, exactly.
Now, how do you mainly play the game? Are you shiny hunter, PvPer, collector? Like, what is your biggest top things on the game?
Well, before I started PvP, I was just a main shiny hunter and also just building up my arsenal for PvE. I have like 300, 400 maxed out Pokemon for just raiding and just being able to duo things. I made a second account just to be able to just do raids by myself. I don't play my other account too often now, but that was the main focus of my Pokemon Go career at the beginning. And then we know when PvP came out, we had a lot of those community. You remember those where we had the Boulder Cup, and I got into that a little bit, but I wasn't really into it because I didn't want to spend my dust to make all these PvP Pokemon because I was spending it on the PvE ones.
Right.
But then it just all changed once GBL came out. And then there was something else to focus on, the ratings and just the global aspect of it that got me intrigued about it. And now it's just, I just totally enamored by it. I wish they would fix some of these bugs and make it a little better on it, but it's an app. You can't really expect at least as long as they're trying to fix things. I mean, that's all we can ask for because there are people behind the scenes at Niantic. They're not just a computer. They love the game also, but it's, you would think the billion-dollar company would be able to do a little bit more, but we'll see what happens. PvP GBL is a fairly new concept, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, GBL didn't come out until like late last year, and that's when we thought that things were gonna change. But then bugs came around and things like that, so we knew it was still a beginning part of it. It's like we went through the preseason and we wanted to test out a lot of different things. They test out the ranking system and everything like that. So in all regards, we do see how they have built up. And of course, there's always going to be glitches whenever it comes to new updates and everything, especially now that they have to reinvent everything that what Pokemon Go really is, and then just, stay at home Go is basically what we have here. But I mean, PvP has actually grown such well because of everything that has happened this last year, and in the recent months, of course. But definitely something that we will get into when we go along the interview is that even if all the glitches come around, there are ways to go around it. And then of course, the Pokemon Go community is very voiceful when it comes down to it, especially on Twitter. They go nuts when something like this happens.
Yeah, I'll get into that later too about that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, we'll get to it. Now we have seen your channel grow day by day, minute by minute. You gain so many subs, you get so many views. Actually, something that I wish I could do is have the many views that you actually get per video. Because
it's amazing.
It's great that the more views you get, the more subs you get, the more people that comment, the more people that like. It's incredible how when you started a few months back, now you're here. What is your goal by just keep on doing what you're doing right now? Are you gonna keep doing GBL, still the arena content? What is your goal for this?
Well, my goal is just to continue just for the love of PvP and just bring out as much content as possible to help the community and just show like my true self in my videos. It's more like, I know I'm not the best PvP player in the world, you know what I'm saying? But we all can just get better and better each day, and I just want to showcase my journeys, so I mean, I like Silph Cup, but for me, it's just, I don't know, it's more like people want to see GBL. So, I mean, until maybe down the road, I'd like to do some more Silph Road Cup, but it's hard to concentrate on GBL and Silph Road because then it's like you have half on a half. I got to focus on one certain thing before I can go on another thing. So it's not that I don't like Silph Road, and there's a lot of people that do like Silph Road, but a lot more people are more interested into the GBL aspect of PvP, in my opinion.
Right.
So
yeah, since GBL is such a new content, especially things like the Ultra Leagues, the Premier Leagues. Both when it came down in Masters, your views were just gaining subscribers or gaining by the minutes because people were interested in what's going on and people want to know what's good in the meta or how to counter the meta.
Yeah, exactly.
So I know that Chris probably has a question about this, but it's just what people want to see is what they're gonna search for, and whoever is posting that kind of content is what everybody's going to see in the end of the day.
Yep. Totally, exactly.
Definitely. All right, Chris, go ahead and ask him this next question here. Number 5.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, I just wanted to add on really quick. I think, me especially, I think a lot of battlers, like the self-battlers even, we want to go Battle League too. So you're not just getting the every other player. You're getting the Silph battlers too. So you're getting all the battlers, everybody that's in the PvP. So I definitely see why Go Battle League would fly so well. Because I know not everyone is into Silph. They do not like metas. They like open metas for sure. I don't know, a lot of time. Okay. Now, what gives you the strive? What's your also what is your biggest pet peeve when doing so many battles in Go Battle League?
Well, what do you mean? What am I striving for by doing my videos every day, kind of thing?
Are you trying to? I mean, you said you're trying to help the community. Are you also trying to hone your own abilities? I know you're a good battler. Yeah,
but, I mean, sometimes it's a lot of pressure per se because I'd like to be able to shoutcast and showcase other people's battles like a lot of the other YouTubers like to do. That way, That way I don't have to, I can take a break. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes not every day is a good day. And I really don't want to put out content that's not up to par. I don't mind showing losses because everybody's going to lose. I don't really mind showing. I'll make mistakes. We all make mistakes. But sometimes when you get down on yourself, especially when, you go 5 sets and you have not a winning set, you don't really want to post a 1 and 4. That's not going to help too many things. So it's kind of gets a lot of pressure on me to play well, and that also just puts a lot of doubt in your mind sometimes, but you just got to push through it. After all, it is a game, and you got to remember, you are good at it. This thing didn't just go away. So you just got to keep grinding away at the content as much as you can, and just for the love of the game and for the love of the community. I just like to put my heart and soul into my content. Sometimes my commentary might be a little bit repetitive at times or whatever, but it's all from the cuss. I don't have no edits. Like when I start do my voiceover, just all one through, and that's the first cut, and that's it. That's why I like to do it. I do all my edits from my phone. It's harder to do it than a lot of the other YouTubers, but maybe down the road we're going to get a little more sophisticated in our channel, but I'm enjoying where we're at right now.
Yeah, definitely. One of the things that we, of course, want to ask is like, what makes you so focused on just doing that many battles at one point? It's like sometimes the grind can be just as daunting, and just like you say, people don't want to see losses, don't want to see how this team fares well in the meta.
I don't think it's that they don't want to see losses. Sorry, I don't think that they don't want to see losses. It's more that they want to be able to take something from your battles. Like if I'm losing and there's really nothing you could take from the battles, then why showcase it? You know what I'm saying? Right. If I had like a 1-4, but there was a lot of things that I could have showcased to why I lost, that's a different story. But when you're making mistakes, it's kind of hard to really showcase a ton of mistakes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you're gonna lose, Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, the GBL matchmaking is not the greatest when it comes down to it. And whenever you have a team ready, it's like a hard counter, no matter how much you try it, and then you have to, press on and everything.
Least hard counter as possible.
I know that feeling, and I'm pretty sure you've seen it way more than I have at that point. Since what is your ranking right now in GBL?
Well, the past couple of days I've dropped, so I'm just below 2,500, so I'm like 2,450 right now, something around there.
Getting to that rank.
But we've been testing out some things, trying to. I was up to 2,490, and then I had to almost go on tilt. Not tilt per se, but it was just like I kept getting, like Chris said, on hard countered and changing teams, and another hard counter, and just the bugs and the lag. So it's just one of those days you just had to. I should have put my phone down, but you gotta have some content, and
yeah, definitely. That's great, but at the same time, it's just like, so frustrating.
It does get daunting sometimes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's why I always try in my videos to have a Google Doc for people to send me some videos. That way I can, give back to the community in that sense, and take a little break and shoutcast somebody else's videos.
Yeah, we can probably get into that Google Doc and put that Crustal in there and see how that goes.
Oh yeah, I was gonna make one, but then I realized I used all my dust already.
Oh yeah, dust. Gotta love dust.
I can't believe it. The great Jersey has used his dust farm.
Yeah.
Well, so we know your shiny collection as much as probably the next guy in our Discord. But for our listeners, how can you tell us how many shinies do you have right now?
Oh, after today, I what was the count? It was 1,119 shinies. So that's what I'm up to right now. It doesn't have much room for other things, but hey, like a lot of people like to delete their shiny. I just can't come to deleting a shiny. Not yet, of course. I was getting close when it was at the 3,000 mark, but then they upped it to 3,500, so we're good for a little bit now.
A little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
I know when everybody talks about the storage actually being increased in some way, shape, or form, everybody's like, "Hey, storage!" 2 days later, it's like, "Okay, I have nothing else to do."
Yeah, right. Exactly.
But yeah, that's really a lot of shinies. I have, for the sake of this, I actually have deleted shinies in the past, and that's of course has hurt me as a shiny
That's
hunter.
all on everybody else,
Yeah,
it's your shinies. You can do what you want.
I've
wanted to delete like some like Slack Hoss, or I got like 40 Magikarp now. It's like, who needs all them? But it's like it's a shiny right now. I'd rather delete a 98 IV something that's sitting there and wanted a shiny. That's just me.
Well, hopefully once Pokemon Home actually has the connectivity we want, we'll probably transfer all the shinies there, and then that way,
that'd be awesome. I heard about that.
They will live in in our storage system forever. So
that'd be awesome.
We'll see. Hopefully, we'll get through that. I am getting about a Genesect Ray, so I'll just put this in the background for you guys. All right, wonderful. Chris, go ahead and ask the question there.
Oh yeah. Okay. What advice do you have for our listeners who are just getting started in Go Battle League and PvP, in Pogo in general? I know there's a few things I'd like to tell people.
Well, my best advice is just it's a marathon, not a sprint. So you just got to take one battle at a time and just learn something from every battle you do. Don't get too down and don't get too high on yourself either, because once you think you're on the top of the world, GBL could take you down a couple notches, even the best battlers. Like last night, I watched FP Sticks pretty much dive 150 points on his live stream. And I looked at he had that face like I did when he on. So every one of us has the capabilities of losing points. Nobody's going to go win every single match, and that's just the beauty of GBL, because you just never know what's going to happen. You can make the best teams in the world, but you always have this other person as an off-meta team that just out of nowhere just comes in and destroys you. So the best advice I can give is just, take one day at a time, and like I said, just don't get too happy or too sad. You just got to stay level-headed And if you're going on tilt, you feel like you're getting tagged, just put the phone down and just come back to it later. They're not going anywhere. And also, you don't always have to do 5 sets a day either. Like, I don't always have to. Once I say I'm on a winning streak, I go 3-2, 4-1, 4-1. I put the phone down because I know that they say an algorithm, but it's not that there's an algorithm to get you. It's just there's an algorithm just to make it a level playing field per se, because they're matching you with the people around your ELO. So, I mean, they're going to try. It's going to be different. You're not going to always have the same team. So that's the best advice I can give.
Yeah, definitely. Chris, what about you? What advice do you think you can give to somebody starting in either GBL, PvP, or Pokemon Go in general?
I mean, just personally, I always say count moves. Like for Charizard, 4 for Blast Burn. I look at some people shielding certain moves, and I'm like, that was only 3. That's definitely a Dragon Claw. I'm sorry.
I got to get better at that myself, especially with the lag lately. Though sometimes it's hard to count because it's so off the wall around. But
the Pokemon are crazy.
Definitely. So one of the things that I would say to a new player most is that, if you're going to be starting on GBL or PvP, just save your Stardust. I mean, as much as you can, because it's going to drain you, especially on the bigger leagues like the Ultra and Masters, just because it just like all over the place. And I'm sure Tom can actually relate to this, because I knew he had a lot of Stardust at one point.
The beauty of GBL is once you bake these things, you're going to have them throughout the season. So once you have your arsenals made, then you're just going to be able to rebuild all that Stardust. Because it's one thing about Stardust, you just got to catch them all and you get more Stardust back. So, I mean, if you really want to invest in something, go ahead and invest on it. Just don't feel bad about it. Say if something doesn't work, at least you have that mod. You know what I mean? As long as you're going to do it in the right mod. Just to have be educated when you're using your Stardust is pretty much what I can say.
Now, one of the questions that we have from actually one of somebody in the chat, they said that there is some Android lag. How do you beat that? Do you play in the Android or do you play on iPhone?
Yeah, I play on Android, and I totally understand what he's saying. It's like I've been getting a lot lately, past couple, 3 days, where you actually like freeze, and or the other opponent is just attacking you, and you can't do anything. Your charge moves don't work, or you just it's so weird. I thought it was just my connectivity, but I'm on Wi-Fi. Then I went on my own off Wi-Fi, and it still did it. And it's just certain aspects of I didn't know if it was an Android bug or more of an Niantic bug, but I've been hearing more that it's Android, and it's really frustrating, especially when you're winning a match and you're sitting there slamming on your phone and nothing's happening. And it's obviously there's no, like I call it, a spinning ball of death in the corner. Obviously it's not lagging. It's just something to do with, I can't say connection, but like Android, I guess. I don't know what it could be, but I totally understand what he's saying.
You guys remember
it's really frustrating.
You guys remember the double spinning ball of death? That was both in GBL and your own phone or your own game. So it was just like 2 of those at the same time.
I would cry seeing that thing.
I know, that's for sure. But that's actually a great question, Paper. Thank you so much. I know that there has been a lot of rants in about how the PvP needs to actually get a little bit better. Like they need to fix their servers and everything. And we have mentioned in previous podcasts that they're not gonna actually have downtime for any of their maintenance for GBL. They're actually, you're gonna be able to actually go through your matches without having, like they say, we're gonna have a maintenance, but there's not going to be a downtime, so everybody can play throughout the maintenance. So I don't know if that's actually going to fix or anything like that. I don't know if it's going to be bad for... We still haven't seen a maintenance in GBL since, I
don't understand how they're going to do that. Like, how you can still be on the servers battling when they're doing maintenance.
Right.
This is going to be crazy more lag, I would think. But hey, we'll find out.
Yeah, that's for sure. We actually haven't seen...
Or they're not going to announce it.
That too.
Like, maybe they won't say anything.
Yeah. But one of the things that we mentioned is also since the Jesus cheating problem and how they brought down GBL entirely down, that's when we thought, that's right after that they said, okay, no more down maintenance. So that's why we haven't actually seen a full maintenance to GBL since then. So I don't know what they want to do or say when it actually happens. So we'll see how Pokemon Go handle it. But, we're still, going through GoFest and everything, so we'll definitely go through all of that soon. But we'll definitely talk about those parts of the news in just a second there. But yeah, do you have any big rivals out there, or do you have any other battlers that that watch you help out in battles or anything?
What do you mean, like rivals? People that I want to battle with, or just people that don't like me, per se?
More like just people in PvP in general. Like, do you have anybody who you will say, hey, I seen this guy use it. I want to battle him and see how that works or something like that.
Well, I have two people that were really a big inspiration to my channel that really made me want to do it. It's Battle Bill PvP, Oxford U, well actually three, Oxford U and Rise to Occasion. Those three guys were up and coming just like I was, and they're really great battlers, and they're really down to earth, kind of like I try to be. So I guess you could say my biggest rivals would be them, but they're more like a friendly rival because they are really great people and they make really great content also.
Yeah, one of the things that when we say rival is just like friendly competition when it comes down to it.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
no
totally,
worries,
yeah.
No worries about that. Yeah, no, don't worry about the haters out there. The haters will always be out there.
No, totally.
Trust me, it's
always.
Like, there's always people.
I smile at them. That's what you gotta do.
Yeah, definitely. And well, you already actually answered our next question, so that's pretty good. So, Chris, you can go ahead and actually ask him question number 10 if there.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm assuming, since earlier you said you like Pokemon Go more than the other Pokemon games because you're like shiny hunting with other people, you like being very social with others, like via Pokemon Go, like instead of just being like antisocial on your own little thing, for sure, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, sometimes, everybody wants to be antisocial sometimes, even me, like, I like to be doing my own thing. That's where PvP comes in. That is one aspect of Pokemon Go that you can just be antisocial.
Right.
But social at the same time. So, like, that's how I'm being social with it. I'm doing my singularity of doing my battles and then making it social by going on YouTube and posting my journey for everybody to see. So that way I can bring them get two things together,
Oh, yeah. That's for sure. Just like we always say, Pokemon Go is all about being social with others, and that's what Niantic is striving for. But, how quarantine has actually, put us on hold on a lot of different things, so... Yep. We want to be as social as possible, guys, but definitely we gotta be out there. So,
totally.
But yeah, genocide and I freaked out.
I know, right? So one of the questions that Chris actually had is like, will you make a return to Silph Leagues eventually, or you think it's just too dust dependent on it?
No, I mean, I really love to go back into Silph Road. I really would. And I do have a lot of stuff made already from past, cups. It's just the time. It's not that I don't like it. It's more just the time. I don't want to go into these things and just not have the time to put my effort into it and not make a good showing. But I definitely are interested in going back to the Silph Road for sure.
Yeah. So
I'm still in my lobby and everything like that. I still go check in there and I still keep up on what's going on.
That's great. Silph Arena is actually ending their World Championship this month. They should be there with the 4 best battlers of each continent pretty soon.
It's cheap.
And then we do have the last of the Silph Arena League actually ending this month. So whatever the case may be, whatever Season 3 would be, or maybe they'll take a break, that's the time where all the battlers will be, going into GPL and everything like that, just to keep on the grind. But at the same time, have honed their skills for later on possibilities of whatever is best for Silph Arena, because their cups are actually really interesting when it comes down to it. It's just that sometimes they have so many Pokemons in here and so many Pokemons there, and that's when you can't do both at the same time, and then you just gotta focus on one. So shout out to Silph Arena. Thank you so much for all the great content. I know for sure they will be taking a break soon just for that reason. So do you believe that your content creation holds you back from winning more battles, or does it give you a push to do better?
I mean, it gives me a push to do better, but it's almost a double-edged sword. The push to do better also makes me play more pressure instead of just free and just letting me play the way I know how to play. And then once you have that pressure to win, you're not going to usually win more than if you just go in there and just play for fun. Because, more pressure you have, the more often you're just going to have lapse in judgment and just... I go tap crazy is what happens. Like, when a lot of times when you're up there in the higher ranks, a lot of people are going to swap on you. But you just get single-minded on doing one thing, and you got to remember 2 or 3 steps ahead once you get up in the higher rankings. And once I get the pressure on me, it seems like I get I'm only 1 step ahead or 2 steps ahead sometimes, and that's really going to go make or break some matches that come down to just one charge move.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So I mean, it's
all the way.
That is for sure. And then Chris, actually, you got a better question there for sure.
Oh yeah, you'd like that. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. I need to know because I've seen a lot of people. I've heard a lot of people talk about this. Content creators. Following on, how many people have said GGs on your videos after competing in Go Battle League, win or lose?
How many? I've had a few people say it to me. I've had a lot more people, like people come to me on Discord or even some people on Twitter that found me and said it. Yeah. And a lot of times, they're usually the people that have beaten me are the ones that say it. Like, a lot of people don't say it when after they lose to me. So, I mean, I don't know if there's more people are beating me or I'm just, not getting the people that are actually losing to me. But that's what usually happens.
I remember watching FP6.
Yeah, Chris actually... Yeah. Chris was actually able to battle Poco AK in Go Battle League once. And I was telling him, just go ahead and say GG on Twitter. He'll be fine with it. Everybody says that all the time. It's like it was a great battle and all that stuff. Because he beat him using whatever team he was using throughout his video that time. But he was like, nah, I won't, because it's like it's too bad on this and everything. I'm like, dude, just go ahead and say it. I mean, we're a great community out there, So
I always feel bad about saying GG's like only after winning, Like it seems
exactly.
Like you're like rubbing it in their face almost,
Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. Yep.
Well, whenever I
don't really take it that way.
Yeah, but
I know what you're saying though.
Luckily, a lot of the actual content creators out there, whenever they do see somebody actually say, "Hey, I battled you over there," it's like, cool. That's great. It doesn't matter if you win or lose, as long as they're bringing in that kind of content, because at the same time, they have to be positive to the community and be like, okay, so I lost against you, but it was a great battle. I can learn from this, all this. So that's actually good about some of the PvP contenders out there. Whenever I see somebody whenever I see somebody that is like Mystic 7 or Reversal that is in my raid because I'm doing a raid with somebody who knows them and all that, I'm just like, well, here we go. All right, tweet it time. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Is that what I heard?
A what?
I think I heard I beat.
No. I was able to actually get somebody from China who's actually an editor for Mystic 7 as my friend list. So he sends me raids every other time whenever it comes around. So I see Mystic 7, I see Reversal. Sometimes I see Ollie cool. And even Poke and all those people. So it's like, it's great. It's great to actually see them. But
yeah,
they have so many people out there that in the end of the day, if they see it, they see it. If they don't, hey, what can you do? It's, at least you're making it yourself out there. You're trying to communicate with the community out there, even if it's the bigger YouTubers or just somebody else who just want to say hello. That's what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, totally.
Definitely. And Tom, did you say you wanted to actually add on to something else, or?
No, I was gonna say that into that aspect, I beat Arrow on GBL, and I went on and said GGs to him, and I almost felt bad for saying that. Just like Chris said, it's like I didn't want to throw it in his face. It was more like it wasn't the greatest game. It was more like I countered his team, but it was still a decent amount match for me to say GGs. But after the fact, I was like, man, I probably should have said something besides GGs, But hey, I totally understand where Chris was coming from.
Yeah,
because he's one of those kind of people that would take it that way, and I didn't want it to come across that way at all.
Well, he's a cool guy, but I know he gets really agitated by like hard counters.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, when GBL actually came out the first time, everybody was searching their matches. My very first match was against Pope Dave, and I was like, "Wait, what? Wait, hold on. This is actually real." He destroyed me because he had like a team that I didn't even know what he was using. He was using his rank 1. I don't know, the pre-evolution of slacking.
Oh, Vigoroth.
Vigoroth, yeah. So Vigoroth, and then he was using a rank 1 shiny Dusknoir. And I was like, okay, yeah, I can't beat this. I don't know what to use in the first time.
Dusknoir? What?
Yeah, I know. I was
right?
All of a sudden, I started getting hit by that. I'm like, oh no, I'm about to lose my first match in QBL. Oh no.
Yeah, supposedly it's pretty good now with Hex.
Yeah, definitely. So, but that's the thing, whenever that happened, we started talking on Twitter, and we're like, now we're friends in the game and things like that. So we start to try to communicate as much as possible, because in the end of the day, they're also human. So, if they want to talk, they want to talk. If not, it is what it is, All right, but yeah, I think we mostly got all the questions out of the way. Definitely is, a lot to cover. But, Tom, thank you so much also for, trying to answer all those questions there.
No problem.
I know now more about you than I used to know before, even though we have met since, a while. One of the things that is Tom is part of our community, and they say he's a leader in our community because he actually created the Discord that we all love and share, for the reason that, we wanted to go out there and create a community positive out there. So we do want to thank you, Tom, for doing that, and just keeping it in check, because sometimes we can be a wild Pokemon Go players for sure. So
Yes.
Hey, that's why I got my woman as my co-leader. She keeps me in check.
Oh, there you go.
She's also a great leader.
There's Heather in the chat.
Yep.
All right, so we got the interview out of the way, but we still have some recaps and news to talk about, guys. So make sure that you stick around for just a little bit longer. Tom, I did ask that if you wanted to stay, so let's go ahead and get it going, shall we?
Yep.
All right, Chris, let's get into our recaps of the day. We have Enigma Week, the recap. How many shinies, hundos, and all have you all gotten?
Ooh, I don't think I've gotten any hundos. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Yeah?
Let me look up shiny and 4-star, but shiny ore. Sorry, shiny. What am I doing? Oh my gosh.
Well, for Enigma Week, I got a Hondo Staryu, so it's not too bad when it comes down to it. I did get a Hondo Purified Subat, which already had a Crobat roll go around it, which I know, PvP stats and all that stuff. Yeah. And then after that was just a Hondo Horsey. As for shinies, how were you guys on your Deoxys?
Oh, dude, it went.
Yeah, I didn't get one.
What?
I probably did like 30 raids. Yeah, I didn't get one.
Dude, that's Latios and Latios for me.
It happens, But
you're waiting on the defense form, though.
Yeah, that'd be the one I hope to get, of course.
Yeah,
yep.
definitely.
I mean, what are you going to use a normal defense? I mean, normal Deoxys for? I mean, it's really awesome shiny. I would love to have it.
One thing though that King did say on Twitter is that those Pokemon are just one update away from being battleable on PvP. So you never know until you see it. So it's not bad to actually get a couple just in case.
Totally.
Shiny when it comes to shiny, but hey, whatever the case may be, there will be maybe some they will be viable depending on what moveset they get and things like that. So it is what it is.
Pyramid made a good point too. When home comes around, he's gonna trade one over to home right away, so he can have one and go, and then one in the game.
That's
which
awesome.
is interesting.
Yeah, well, home is the gateway for Pokemon Go players for the main series games. And we have seen it with both Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu, which you can transfer all your Generation 1 Pokemons plus Metal and Metal. But that's the gateway for us to actually see those big Pokemons in like high definition screens and everything. And then people can see what you have and things like that. So hopefully, that's my goal is usually when it's a mythical, I know you can only get a couple of them when it comes down to it. But it's either one for home, one for the game, because I still want to keep, whatever is good out there in my Pokemon Go account. But then home is the one that I want to showcase. Everybody's like, hey, this is my shiny collection, So
Yeah, totally.
So that's the shinies, the Hondos. Enigma Week wasn't too bad. We did have unknown raids in 2-star raids, so I know a lot of people were going for that.
Yeah, I did a bunch of those and no shiny either.
Yeah,
no shiny unknown, even at Go Fest. Those things don't like me.
You know how many shiny G's I got?
Maybe like 3.
4.
All G's. Julie got 2 O's. I'm so mad.
I got 2 O's too, yeah. But I wasn't... When I saw that every single one of the Ultra unlock or the Ultra letters were going to be shinies, I was like, I'm not going to spend $200 on this.
My money.
I know I wasn't going to spend $300 on this just to get one. Because the content creators, I mean... They do what they do because of it, but they have, there's one like the cruise ship. He actually got like almost every single one. And then Fleaskin on Twitter, he actually got every single shiny unknown too. So
I follow.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's crazy.
But then you ask him how many raids they did. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it was like I think he did like 800 requests of raids that week.
I think he got unknowns before he got the Deoxys too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure he spent it on regular passes and premium passes, and then of course remote passes. But oh my goodness.
Yeah. I got pretty lucky. I was able to get the Shiny Unknown and Staryu fairly early into the event, and then I was pretty
awesome.
dry after that. But
Well, actually, for Dragon Week, I got one shiny Rayquaza for each day of the week, so I was actually happy about
yeah,
that.
I'm jealous.
That's awesome.
I didn't get one.
Yeah, I was going for the Hondo or Shando, but unfortunately that never came when it came down to it.
I did get.
I went crazy on Rayquaza last time it came out.
Oh, yeah.
I have 6 shinies.
Oh, that's great.
Oh,
Yeah.
I had the lucky
But I didn't do
trade.
too many this time.
I think they may have like reverted some of the shiny rates after Rayquaza's raid came around, but everybody was doing Rayquaza. Like no matter where you go, what you do, if you actually said, "Hey, I want to raid Rayquaza," everybody starts spamming you. It's like,
Yeah.
"Come on over, these things and do that."
It's too bad Rayquaza ain't good in PvP.
Not yet. Just wait until
Yeah,
Mega.
not yet, and he's-
Just wait until
yeah.
Mega Evolutions comes
Give
around.
it Dragon Breath.
I know.
Give
Yep.
it Dragon Breath.
Move away. Quick move away.
All right.
He's got charge moves too. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So Enigma Week has been recap, but now we are in Unova Week, which in the end of the day, it's kind of like the toned down last week of the events. We do have Shiny Ruggenrola come out for the very first time, Shiny Genesect, which is actually a lot of people are actually hyped about. But after that, there's not much going on aside from a couple of brand new Pokemons in the games. Well, I was gonna say brand new Pokemons, Chris. Come on, man. So
That
have
are
you?
super rare.
I know, right?
Dude,
Have you actually
that's
seen
freaking
any of
Royal clone.
the new Pokemons out there yet? Have you actually caught any of the Pokemon, Tom?
Oh yeah. He had
Well, I think I've only gotten the Cottony, and I got the which one was it? Cottony, and it was what were the two that came out?
Swabble? Or Swabble?
Swaddle,
Swaddle.
and what was the
Yeah,
third one?
Emolga.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I think I didn't get Swaddle yet. I got the other two, and I got my shiny Genesect today.
Oh,
It
nice.
keeps coming
I
up
haven't
on
even
my
seen the Swaddle on my nearby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw. I know there's a lot of people who has hashed the Emolga, but I have actually. I saw a while when I was coming back from work. I saw a while Emolga, and I was like, yep, no, let me go ahead and try turn around here.
It was actually at my job. I turned on my game after work, and it was just sitting there, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool."
My God.
There was
Yeah,
two on the nearby, like right when it rolled around. I was like, we gotta get it now. I don't know how rare it's gonna be.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's pretty rare. That's the only one I've seen.
Yeah, and because of the Flying Cup actually coming around soon, once they actually announce that Emolga is an electric
fun.
flying type Pokemon, so that may actually be a contender in the GBL, depending on what their moveset and everything is on it. So
I wonder what did they say if it's going to be Ultra, Great, or Master League Flying
Nah,
Cup, or
yeah,
just
we're
Flying
not sure
Cup?
yet. We don't have fully information on the Flying Cup just yet.
I need to find out the dates, man.
I
Yeah.
got my Honchkrow, double move Honchkrow is ready.
Oh.
I made that thing for Ultra League. I haven't even used it yet. I was going to try to fit a team, but it's so squishy.
Yeah, it is.
I've
Especially
seen some people beat me with it, man.
well with all the Lapras.
It's awesome with shields.
Yeah, with all the Lapras in GBL right now, it's kind of like.
I led my Lapras into it, and he found a way around it. I give props to that trader. I wish I had.
All right. So yeah, that is the Unova week. Hopefully we'll get a little more news coming along since we're still full force. I think Niantic is also taking a small little break after everything that they did for GoFest. So this Ultra Unlocks is basically their way of saying, hey guys, go ahead and go wild for the next 3 weeks, and then we'll see, because we have still announcements for Mega Evolutions, and then whatever else comes for the next Legendary Raid Boss, which Genesect should be ending by Friday this week. So that's we'll see how it goes. We'll see how they will announce. Maybe they'll break their final break is finally over, so it's time for us to see what we got. All right, so and then the last of the recaps, we have Pokemon Go Fest 2020 Makeup Day today. We all three of us played the event, and we just want to hear your thoughts. I mean, what do you guys think? What you guys think about this last 3 hours?
I'll let him start.
Well, I mean, I always like to tell people, like, when people don't get shinies, they say that, like, oh, the shiny rates are higher, per se. Every time, it's always, I'm not getting shinies. But there was the same rate as last time. It just, you got to think about it was only 3 hours, number one. Last time GoFest was it was 10 hours, right? It was 10 hours.
Yeah.
Was it 10 hours? Yeah, okay. And just we didn't even have to have this makeup date. So it was just like a bonus, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
I was pretty lucky. I got 2 Chinchows today, which I needed one of those for my collection. So I got 2 of them. But overall, I got 10 shinies today. There's some people that didn't get many at all. But overall, it was just nice to have a little makeup day and something to do on a Sunday. It was nice. It wasn't the best hours to pick from, but that second hour with the Stardust was awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
But overall, it was nice to have it.
Yeah, I mean, I put the full start pre-sons for the 3 hours, the start piece instance and everything, and I was just catching. At that point, I was just like, let me just catch Pokemon. So I don't even care if I get a shiny or not. I did
that's
get
what I was doing,
a shiny Houndour, which is actually my very first one that I get. So that
Awesome. That was my first one today.
Yeah, same here.
My first. Well, not my first overall, but my first shiny today. I think I got 10 Houndours.
Oh my god! I need one more for the family.
Yeah, I love them things.
Yeah.
Hey,
But there is actually
that's an awesome shiny.
Yeah, there is one thing that that happened on other regions actually. As you guys know, unknowns, shiny unknown. They did say they were turning on and off depending on whatever event they were having. In the Australia region, when their event was happening, unknown wasn't actually spawning as shiny. So their G's and O's were never, even if they were to get 1 or 2 depending on their spawns, they were not actually getting shiny. There was no reports until probably midway into the event in the European region. Is then when shiny unknown was actually turned on back again, and people were like,
"That's crazy!
What, Niantic? What are you doing? This is supposed to be a makeup day event, and then now you messed us up for a lot of people." So
it's gonna be like another redo.
Just an unknown day.
I know. You think that everybody is like, okay, so guys at work, please, I'm gonna need another week off. So, but they're not gonna make unknown that commonly in the wild unless it's like a centralized location or in race, just like they did. So when it comes down to it, it comes down to it in the end of the day. So yeah, no, that's a disaster in the Austin region for sure. Everybody's talking about it, and a lot of people are actually like, give us something, something like that. So because they haven't said anything. Niantic has actually not said nothing, especially since it's Sunday. I don't think they really do say anything, but that depends on what is happening in the day. So yeah, so that is all of our recaps for the day. But we do have maybe one research topic for today, which is our news covering. It is Community Day voting and our picks for this next 2 months worth of community days. So we do have, as Chris will mention this now, the voting for which Pokemons, Chris?
I know it's Charmander, Porygon, was it Caterpie, and Grimer?
There you go.
Yeah.
So they did say, hey, this is going to be the voting for the next month's community day. However, we'll give you more details in the coming days. They haven't announced movesets or bonuses or anything like that, so we are just here to speculate what exactly each Pokemon is. Now, the community went just as the same they will probably be. Tom, you probably already saw this, but Porygon is in the number 1 spot as getting their community day soon. Do you think?
Such a beautiful shiny.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think that Porygon will have a good moveset for a GBL entrance or something like that? Because we haven't seen Porygon or anything like that in GBL before.
I'm really not too sure about Porygon, but I would say for the PvP aspect of it, I'd be interested to see Charizard with Dragon Breath, but I don't really want to see if I could speak, Charmander as a community day again. But I would just love to see that Pokemon that much better. I think it would be OP, honestly, with Dragon Breath, but that's just my opinion. But with Porygon, what was that new move that they said it might have? What was it called? Something?
Tri-Attack.
It's like 3 different types in one, but I think they count as a normal.
Okay, I don't know how that would really do. It would be like a hyper beam kind of thing, like so hard to get to, or
so. In all of the main series game, a Tri-Attack is actually an attack that does 3 different special effects or special super effective damage to whatever Pokemon is going. It could be either fire, it could either be ice, or it could be electric. So that's what usually Tri-Attack would be. So unfortunately, Pokemon Go doesn't follow the main series games when it comes down to all the moves and everything. But Tri-Attack is supposed to be a normal type move for Porygon. It's a stab move for the reason that it's normal.
Yeah.
But it does different damage depending on the Pokemon that it's facing. So I don't know how they're going to implement that. That's the reason why people are speculating Tri-Attack being the move. Other people are saying maybe just Body Slam is okay. Body Slam should be a move that actually does damage depending on the weight of the Pokemon, so that it doesn't apply to GBL or PvP in Pokemon in general. So that's the kind of thing that comes in and out in the moveset. So I know that in all shape or form, Pokemon Go and Niantic will have to reinvent, how we see PvP in general, especially now the Megas Evolutions are only just around the corner. Maybe we'll see a big update soon. We don't know. That's just speculation that people are saying having. So that's the thing, it's like, that's what we want to see. And at the same time, you also have to think, a lot of Pokemons are getting things like Snore or Sleep or something similar, like Snorlax got Yawn as the moveset, but it doesn't do damage. It just charges your move a lot quicker. Slacking got Body Slam, and he still also has John as his quick move, so it doesn't even make him viable in PvP and things like that. So it really depends on what moveset, both quick or charge, is going to implement in that Pokemon, so it will be viable in any PvP meta in that regard.
Yeah.
So,
I just don't see how they'd be able to use Megas in PvP. I just don't. I mean, unless it would be so OP, I would think. But I think it'd be more of a PvE kind of thing. But hey, I wonder how they would actually implement that.
Well, they're going with all aspects. They'll see how Mega Evolutions will actually be implemented, because Mega Evolutions is something temporary and it shouldn't actually happen every time. People at the beginning were speculating that you're going to have to be able to catch the Mega Evolutions to be able to use them. Now we know, because of what the actual developers said in Pokemon Go Fest developer update, that Mega Evolutions will be actually coming with the previous Pokemon that you had before. So even if you had a Charmander and Charizard from day one, you will be able to Mega Evolve it and things like that. So when it comes down to it, we'll see how it really pans out. We still, speculation at its finest, like hype train, tinfoil hat, whatever you think it may be. So,
totally,
definitely. So, let's talk about real quick about the egg rates and something that's been going on in the Twitter sphere thanks to the Pokemon Go community. We have already talked about GBL problems, but everything that can happen between lag issues. Spinning ball of deaths, charge move not going through. I think one of our community members in Discord, Ryan, actually had a charge move already queued up, but he said that even though CMP tie happened, I mean, he lost the first one, but then afterwards the second one came through for the opponent. So we were like, so how is this possible? I mean, I thought it was supposed to go through just what is next, but what they told us is that because after the charge move that it's reset, so CMP ties reset at the same time, you will still lose CMP tie for the next charge move, and that's when your opponent wins that battle for that reason. So we don't know if it's an intended part of it, but at the same time it's something that maybe goes around, and we do have relatively a lot of issues when it comes down to GBL. Opponent using more than 2 shields. It is a known issue by Niantic. Charge attacks fires at the same time allow trainers for first charge attack to switch. That I never seen it myself, but I'm pretty sure that a lot of people have seen that since there is part of it. Fast attacks are slower in trainer battles, and then and then delayed after charge attack. So there is like a tiny, kind of a little bit of delay when
I hate it.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of people are going through. Our own Speediest Chief actually said, "Hey, we're gonna go ahead and sign a petition. Please fix GBL."
The main thing is we got to remember there's people behind the scenes. Like I said, it's not more just like yelling at these people, or you're not going to get anything done. We got to work as a community to make these things happen and make them want to make it better. I mean, they make this game. They love the game just as much as we do, because you can see they are changing. Things have been changing, but we just need to be able to keep a level head and just not go at these people, because that's not going to help anything.
That is true.
We're all frustrated.
At the end of the day, they're still human beings trying to play the same game that we all love and trying to fix it as much as possible. So as long as we give a criticized opinion on something that's happening in the game that we all love, as humanized as possible, we can actually put a positive feedback to them, even though
exactly.
we know it's something like that. But you can't just go ahead and say, hey, guys, you just ruined GBL for us because this glitch is this and that, something like that. I mean, I've seen it throughout all the years in Pokemon Go history, and there's a lot of people out there that love the game as too much, probably, for just, rage as much as possible when it comes down to it. So, oh my goodness. But one of the other things that I wanted to actually talk to you guys about is egg raids. Now, this has been a conversation since the Ultra Unlock week number 1, when Shiny Dino was released, but not fully like spectacle in the wild or anything like that. So I want to hear you guys' opinions. Do you guys think that the raids should be disclosed just like any other game that they usually have? Because they are saying that eggs are now like loot boxes in Pokemon Go, and since you're spending money to get incubators and things like that, we should know the actual rates of how or the percentage of how much you actually will get this Pokemon or such. So Chris, go ahead and actually...
I was going to say, like, I know a lot of people didn't really care for the fact that it said like really uncommon, or it said like really rare or something in the Twitter thing that they put out for Dino before the event started, and I always talked about that. I think it would be very, very beneficial to them if they put out like a 1 in 100 chance of hatching a Dino or something like that. That way people get a good grip on what their actual odds of hatching what they're looking for is. But I don't know if they want that. It's weird because like it would definitely benefit them because they'd be really open about it and people would trust them more.
Yeah, that's for sure. What about you, Tom? What do you think? Should they disclose
pretty much the same idea.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to know like the rates of certain, especially something that we all want, like that Dino. They say it was like really, really lucky. I think the words were really something like lucky. But it's like we all lucky. Every shiny we get is lucky. So what is really, really lucky? What is that a number? I mean, maybe if they don't even want to give like a base number like 1 and so, at least be like give us a percentage. Like it's a 2% chance or something. You know what I mean? Like I know that could go out to the same idea, but it's just I feel they should give us what the full odds are and all this other stuff. Just it can't hurt. I mean. We all know speculation it was between 1 in 450 and 500 is a full odds shiny.
Right.
But we really don't know. I mean, that's just over time of people just doing research, I guess. That just seems like the number that people have in their head is 1 in 500.
Definitely.
I don't know really know where it came from.
I do have 3 opinions when it comes down to this. The first one is I'm going to base this on the other games where they have loot boxes and things like Call of Duty. There's actually Pokemon Masters where if you actually click on a certain place on their sync pair, gacha game part of it, you actually see the percentage of what the rate of what sync pair you're gonna get throughout that. Now that's usually how the gacha game works. They usually tell you this is a higher percentage of you're gonna get this, but they do have a percentage of how much you get. So it's not like you're gonna click on it and you're gonna get it right away because it's a boosted event or something like that. So something is in those regards. So that's the first opinion. So something like that would actually benefit Niantic just because, as Chris says, it will make the community trust Niantic a little bit more when it comes down to it. Now here's another point that we have to look at: the egg system in the game. We know that eggs are abysmal when it comes down to 2k eggs, 5k eggs, maybe 10k eggs being okay, but 7k eggs being whatever they announce at that point. However, if you think about it, the egg system is free. It is free for the player. It's free to play. I mean, the whole Pokemon Go is free to play. You're just putting in the extra money when it comes out, and that's how people are seeing it as loot boxes because you have to buy the incubator, you have to put it on incubator, and you have whatever's hatching at the time. Any egg that you get before an event or during an event will be that whatever you get at the moment. And even if you held it for 4 years in between the beginning of Pokemon Go until now, that egg still has the same rate of what it has before. So in the end of the day, I want to also see it in that perspective. You are playing a free game that you have microtransactions if you want to keep on going, but there's a lot of people out there who play free to play. It's just that the egg system is also free to play. You just have to walk more and more to actually get to where you're going. And then the last point to see it is this going to actually be good for Niantic in that regards? Like Niantic understands when they hear the community, they said, okay, this is the problem we're having. Shiny Dino, and even Dino itself, not even the shiny, just hatching a Dino in the 7Ks during Ultra Week, unlock week number 1, it was like abysmal. Now, some of us got lucky, some of us got a couple extra dinos when it comes down to it, but people were going hard, people were going, okay, I need a shiny Dino. And the worst part of it is just that Dino itself wasn't spawning that rarely in the wild, even though we had boosted dragon type Pokemons, that made the whole thing. Now, one of the things that Niantic unfortunately did and during that week was two wrong things that a lot of people pointed out. In the banner for Ultra Week number 1, they had Dino as their special Pokemon in there. If they would have put Rayquaza, maybe it would have been a little bit better, but because they put Dino, people were expecting Dino. And that's one of the things that I feel like, made the community a little more mad. The second mistake they did, and I'm pretty sure they couldn't fix this before that actually happened, was that you get a notification from Pokemon Go, hey, have you encountered a Dino yet? In Pokemon Go said, the week is almost over. And Twitter just went off. Like, entirely off. This is a kiss to the butt or whatever, a kick to the butt, whatever it can be. It's like, why would you do this when we're so crunchy on this Dino thing? And you were like, oh my God, that was just crazy.
I
remember seeing that.
Oh yeah, I saw that and I was like, But I remember that kind of reminds me of the Alolan event, because just like Dino, we weren't getting the Alolans.
That's right.
So people complained, and we got the Alolans. So I think now people are trying to, and I know it sounds bad, like I know people aren't happy about it, but I think people are thinking if they complain enough that they're just going to get the Pokemon they want no matter what.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's you can't complain and just have everything go your way.
Now,
exactly.
One final point that I'm going to make is that just like every other Pokemon, like when Generation 1 came out, Dratini was the rarest Pokemon we can find. Now, during the Ultra Week, it was like the biggest, Pokemon you can find everywhere. No matter where you go, you see a Dratini. Especially during the tropical storm we were having here in Florida, windy weather, which just boosting all the Dratinis out there. But that's probably going to be the same when it comes to Gible or Dino. Gible, it's a little less rare than it was before. You can actually find him more in the wild if you actually look a little bit closer. But it is out there now. It is like in a same percentage that Dratini had back in the day, but that's when it comes down to it. Dino though, and Dino and Axew, which is actually another Dragon type Pokemon in Generation 5, are still the more rare out of the bunch. So it's harder to see them, harder to know, and especially since Dino has an interesting typing both of Dark and Dragon. However, their Dragon typing, their Dark typing is more stronger than the Dragon typing, so it spawns more in foggy weather. And for us, foggy weather is almost non-existent unless you have a really good morning. So
exactly.
So that really depends on how it goes. We'll see how it really goes, later in the future. Maybe we'll have a community day. Then we'll see more shinies and things like that.
That'd be awesome.
And then that's one of the things I'm gonna just connect to real quick. Because of everything that's happening in the world this year, they don't want us to go out and hunt the rarest Pokemon in the world. They want us to stay safe. And that's what Niantic really is pointing out this year. Everything they have done is to keep the players safe. They cancel Safari Zones, they cancel events, they revamped events, and they made the most difficult decision of putting something like remote raiding into the game, even though it's making it more money than anything else in the world. But that's the thing. They want to keep us safe from the dangers of the world right now, especially the health crisis that we're having right now. So whatever the case may be, they'll keep doing these special bonuses, remote raiding. It's all to keep us safe. And they don't want Community Day, something like Community Day, to keep us from hurting each other for that reason. And maybe next year, maybe whenever we do have a normalcy back into our lives, that's when we'll see more rare spawns through the starters or anything similar to that. So that's what we really got to think about.
Yeah.
All right. I went a little bit on the last part, but thank you very much for listening, everybody. Whew. All right. So let's get into our PvP section. Get good, get wrecked. Here we go, Chris and Tom.
With a PvP star, yes.
Well, we do have a lot of PvP to talk about today for sure, but Ultra Premiere is here. It is really fun, and a lot of people are actually getting into this. But
I love
Tom,
it.
what is the meta looking out there? Like, what do we see these days? Like, is it like a really diverse meta, or is it something that you see constantly throughout each one of your battles?
Well, for Ultra League, it's not really a confined meta. It's more just like a crapshoot, pretty much. Especially the Premier Cup. If you go into normal Ultra League, the meta is pretty much revolving around Giratina and Cresselia, and just making counters for those. And then in the off chance, a lot of more Swamperts are running around because of that in the regular Ultra League. But for Premier Cup Ultra League, it's just more mainly. I've been seeing a lot more electric types, a lot more Gallades, and then I've been seeing a lot more Dragonites in the lead. I've been seeing a lot more uses of just things that hold electric types down, like more Swamperts and, or Escavaliers, stuff like that. But it's just, when it comes to Ultra Premier Cup, you just got to be able to build a team that covers as many bases. You're going to have a weakness of something, and just hope you don't get it.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's just so hard out there in Premier Cup, because there's so many different things you can use.
Oh yeah, definitely. In regular Ultra League, I never really had a legendary really build up for it. I mean, I could have probably gotten a male medal, but that would have grind myself through non-deck systems to get through that. But at the same time,
Yeah.
I always had like something like Poliwhirl, Alolan Muck, and then something else at the third. I can't remember at the moment. Probably Charizard. I wanted to get those pesky grass types out of the way during that. But I never really had that kind of team. Now, whenever I go to Ultra Premier, I'm just having fun with whatever I already have, and it's just like, wow, this is actually really, really fun. Like, the meta is diverse, and then I switch one of my Pokemons to Crustle, and I just see it destroy all the flyers, and I'm like, maybe there's something there.
Yeah, I really want to. I have enough Stardust after today to build my Crustle, but I've built so much stuff for Ultra League Premier already. It's like I've maxed out a Hundo Obamasto, a Drifbloom. I made a Dragonite for Ultra League. I made what else did I make? A Gallade. I've had a lot of things from last season too that were already made, but the Drifbloom and the Obamasto alone were 700,000 Stardust.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
Obamasto is a great Pokemon, but it just has so many weaknesses. It's like you really have to match it up right. I think it has 7 weaknesses.
Well, the biggest one, of course, being a fire type, and
fighting.
fighting is also very bad against it. But once you run into it, and that's why maybe an idea for you, Crustle being the counter to the fire type against your Bulbasaur. Maybe you can have it in the back or something like that, and then the tank in the front or something like that. Maybe.
I was thinking about leading Crustle.
Yeah,
because that's really what I was thinking.
I have seen more fighting types in Ultra Premier for sure. There's just a lot of fighting types out there. So, yeah, that's for sure. But yeah, there is, of course, the Ultra Premier. Thank you, Tom, for let us know how the meta is looking, since you probably have more experience than anybody else in this room. But then, Master, it's coming up. We do have... of course, the Ultra Masters, and then Masters. I'm sorry, not Ultra Masters. What am I talking about? Premier Masters, and then regular Masters. Do you think there's anything out there that actually will change the meta? Is there any Pokemons maybe in the Masters League that you think that's gonna impact? I know we did like a Sacrum trade just to see if we have good IVs, but maybe something out there that you think is out there.
I mean, I don't see anything right as of now that's going to change that meta. But, I mean, we'll see what happens, because there's always people that can change the meta. Once something gets popular, it can change the meta. But overall, Master League is just so set, pretty much. It's especially Premier Cup. It's rock, paper, scissors. There's only certain Pokemon you really can use. There's all meta breakers. But overall, you're going to be using the same stuff. You know what I mean? You're going to be using that Metagross. You're going to be using that Magnezone. You're going to be using that Togekiss. And there's Dragonite. There's a whole bunch of different things. But I don't see a Pokemon that's really going to change the meta like it was like last season. I think it'll be pretty much the same.
Yeah, I can see that.
Zekrom has its use in Master League, but once again, it's really squishy too.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, the newest guy I'm excited to see how he fares is the Fire Punch Groudons.
I made one of those.
Master. Yeah, I'm really excited. Oh yeah, Purelighter and I both got the double shiny on.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Actually, it was crazy.
Yeah, we got it during the stream,
awesome.
and we just I mean, we were just checked throughout when we have Fire Punch Groudon. We got both shinies, and that was the crazy moment. I'll link over the video at some point, or the clip for it. Thanks.
I mean, we could elite TM the best IV ones too.
That's true. That's true.
We could try.
That's what I did.
But yeah, I thought I had something in my mind before we actually get to the end of the podcast here, because GBL and everything else it's been pretty fun in the regards. Although I wish the rewards were probably just a tiny bit better, but the reason why I'm climbing up the ranks is because I want to get into the dino part.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't bring back legendaries. Like, that was like the best thing for GBL, especially when there's not like, why not have Genesect as a reward right now? I guess they wanted you to spend the money on the passes, but at least they can make it super rare. I mean, something, at least have a chance for it.
Yeah.
We're rewarding you with having to raid it to get the shiny.
Well, they have to technically put a couple of things separated from what it is. The only reason why they put it in GVL at the beginning was because new legendaries were coming out, and not a lot of people were having to be able to go out during the time, especially when everything happened at the games there. So that wasn't their intent, but they did it because of the community. At the same time, remote ratings was announced not too long after, probably a month after everything happened. So they were okay. So we're going to have that. That means GBL was gonna take the backseat of the legendaries. I do wish one of these days they'll put better Pokemon on the reward encounter, but it is what it is. It comes down at the end of the day. Because we never know. The one thing that actually, now I remember what I wanted to say. The Flying Cup will be coming, as we mentioned previously. We just don't know the dates or the information about it. We just know that they are thinking of doing, something similar to that, and how Silt Arena Cups are, just one meta or one thing. So we'll see how that pans out first before we're able to see changes to GBL itself. That's at least my take on it. Yeah,
I'm interested to see what league it's going to be in.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right,
I could see it being in Great League.
Great League, Ultra League, I don't mind any of the leagues really. It's just that some Flyers are better in Great League, especially the Flyers, and then Master.
There's a lot more viable Flyers in Great League and Ultra League than Master League. I mean, there's not many Flyers that get that high to be, I guess.
No.
Maybe they'll put it all three leagues at the same time, and we just don't know about it at the end.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I'd be fine with that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, definitely. All right, guys. I want to say this has been a wonderful podcast. Thank you so much for all the questions and informations about it. Tom, thank you so much for joining us. Guys, if you want to if you guys want to check him out, Tom, you can go ahead and plug in all the information where they can find you, Twitter handles or whatever else that you want to put it out there.
All right. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking you're gonna type it. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness, it's been a long day. So you can find me on YouTube. It's under Jerseytoof PvP. It's pretty easy to find me on there. Also, my Twitter handle is at NJBOY, the number 4L. And if you guys want to hit me up there, that's fine. I'll take some more followers. And if you guys have any battles you want me to look at, that's also the way to do it. You just find me on YouTube and then just hit me up at Twitter, and we'll find out what happens after that. I'd love to see you guys battles. Appreciate it so much for all the support. You guys are amazing.
And if anybody of our listeners out there in the podcast feeds want to check him out, we'll have the link to his channel and his Twitter down in the description. So make sure that you guys check that out later on for the podcast itself. So that you guys will be able to find him. But again, Tom, thank you so much for coming on. It's great to know more about you, and thanks to now that you are rising in the PvP meta. So we'll see how it goes in the future, and maybe we'll have you come in, when we have maybe 500 subscribers or 1,000 subscribers.
We'll that'd be awesome.
We want to see that. We want to see that 1,000 subscribers. So get him to 1,000. All right, guys.
I really appreciate it, guys.
Thank you again. So thank you again, everybody, for listening. If you can always find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and soon we'll have ourselves into Amazon Music, so you guys can check us out there too. And then, of course, many other podcast services out there. So make sure you do. If you have any more information, both for Chris, myself, or even Tom, you can also email us at purifiedpodcast@gmail.com. You can also send us a text or voice message at 941-417-9243. Make sure you guys do. And then, of course, don't forget to check us out at the purifiedpodcast.com, the Professor Network affiliation. That's all I have for you guys today. Chris, if you want to go ahead and take us away.
Sure. Yeah. it's great to have a good friend of ours on the call, and I'm definitely excited.
Definitely.
We've had PvP people on. Maybe we can keep it going. I don't know.
All right, guys.
It's crazy.
That'd be awesome.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks so
We've had a
much.
crazy week.
Have a good night, guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
You too, guys. Thank you.